When last I left the story of the recent ongoings at Wilfrid Laurier University in Ontario, we overheard a script reading to an Orwellian nightmare. A trio of alleged educators shaming an understudy for daring to present students with sufficient information to decide where they stand on a controversial issue for themselves. When I wrote that video, I had yet to see any formal response from the university faculty involved or the university leadership. But I was eager for it. Would they double down against free thought and academic inquiry, or would they actually reflect and consider where they may have gone wrong? I hoped for the best while expecting the worst, and what we got in the meantime was something in between. While the communications professor who led that discussion did write an open apology to Lindsay Shepherd, he closed by reaffirming his academic goal of advancing social justice, but he did at least concede that Jordan Peterson is not, in fact, like Hitler. Yet, of course, self-authoring is just a stone's throw from ethnic authoring, so keep an eye on him. The Laurier president apologized as well, at least that's what we're supposed to believe, though I don't blame you if you think the apology sounds like a coerced statement delivered at the barrel of a terrorist's gunpoint.
Wilfrid Laurier University stands for and supports freedom of expression and academic freedom. Unequivocally. Freedom of expression is core to our values. We live it in our classrooms, in our lecture halls, and in the conversations we have with our students and faculty each and every day.
Shepherd herself doubted the sincerity of these apologies, believing that doing so was the only viable option for a university under such heated scrutiny.
Yes, I'm happy that they apologized, but at the same time, let's acknowledge that this was their only option.
Peterson responded similarly, critical of what he views as the characterization of this event as an anomaly rather than a trend. He also tweeted his distaste for what he views as a lie about the intent in comparing him to Hitler. And while I can't fault either Shepherd or Peterson for being critical of faculty who directly attacked them both unprovoked, I myself will take whatever progress I can in this case. Even if these apology statements are mostly attributable to the remorse of being caught and publicly scrutinized rather than the remorse of being wrong, either necessarily comes with at least a drop of introspection. And in today's cultural desert of self-awareness, I will take that win where it's available. But not everyone has acknowledged that Laurier faculty were wrong in both principle and in practice, that they were wrong to violate the vital academic values of free thought and free discussion and debate, and they were wrong to say that Shepherd upholding these values is a potential crime. There's a sizable group of students who believe not only that Laurier faculty did nothing wrong, but that they are actually the victims of a video clip played in a class they aren't even a part of. Victims of students in a classroom somewhere on campus just entertaining thoughts with which they disagree. In other words, victims of the foundational purpose of the educational institution they voluntarily attend. These are students and staff at the Rainbow Center on campus, an LGBT advocacy and education group that responded to the president's statement on the event with a sign in their window that reads, "Trans students deserve an apology." Shepherd spoke about this apology demand in a TV interview on Friday.
Currently, the Rainbow Center at Wilfrid Laurier University is demanding an apology from me, but first, I feel like I need to know, what am I apologizing for?
So, you've obviously had a lot of time to think about it. What do you think that they want you to apologize for?
I think it's just the fact that a figure, Jordan Peterson, was in the clip, and it's by proxy of me bringing that figure into the classroom. Even though, obviously, all of us have different aspects of us that are maybe things that some people agree with and some people don't. So, to think that one person is just polarizing no matter what and he has to be banned from the classroom, it's just a little bit outrageous to me.
I found this segment fascinating. It's one thing to demand an apology for clear wrongdoing. It's another to demand an apology on entirely ambiguous terms. If you demand an apology from a person, but leave her guessing on what she's actually apologizing for, Do you really want that apology anyway? It can't possibly be sincere because its purpose isn't even understood. Which got me wondering, is Shepard being fair here? Has the Rainbow Center explained its demand for an apology, or is she right that there's no coherence to find? Here's the Rainbow Center's administrative coordinator.
By not following through this investigation before releasing an apology, the voices of trans students are being silenced on this campus and are not being taken into account.
Toby Finley feels the conversation around freedom of speech is being used to cover up and allow a lot of transphobia within the community.
Well, as far as I've seen, nobody has silenced a single trans voice. In fact, the opposite is true. The opposition is simply saying that all voices should be considered, trans voices included. Seems to me you're the only one advocating voice silencing. But if you have specific incidents you can describe on the transphobia claim, maybe there's something apology worthy there. The trouble is, at least in this story, there is no such explanation. There is only the claim that these debates cause trans students to question the validity of their identities. To which I say, one, good, college is about questioning everything, and yourself is a great place to start. But two, why would you give other people's opinions so much control over your own self-ownership? Be who you want to be, and if other people don't like it, view it as their loss, not yours. Regardless, a negative opinion isn't abuse. You can't control other people's thoughts, and they shouldn't have to apologize for them anyway, because their thoughts are theirs, not yours. The Rainbow Center also says students there have been dealing with really transphobic and really hateful comments both on campus and online since the issue flared up, but at least in this story, there's no evidence provided of such alleged harassment.
Members of the Rainbow Center say since this debate started and they posted their views, there's been a lot of online backlash towards the center and towards students on campus. Nancy?
All right, Natalie Van Roy at Laurier University.
But maybe just this particular story is edited for length? Maybe the specifics of what they're talking about are available elsewhere? That same Rainbow Center administrative coordinator is quoted in this piece at greater length, explaining that when trans students speak up at Laurier, they are becoming targets on campus for hate. That refusal to use certain pronouns is tantamount to saying trans experiences aren't real, and specifically, the hostility has been shown in emails, posters, and destruction of the campus newspaper that reported the controversy. It's when we see specifics here that it becomes apparent. If these are your primary examples for the unbearable hate and harassment you're describing, maybe it is entirely reasonable to say your experiences aren't real. Regarding the emails, not one has been produced or published. We just have to take their word for it that there are lots of them, and they're very mean. Regarding hateful posters, what they're referencing is a poster saying it's okay to watch Jordan Peterson videos, an homage to the recent wave of It's Okay to Be White posters seen at Laurier and other college campuses. And it should be noted that this poster, singular poster, was posted not on Rainbow Center premises, but at the Student Center, meaning the stretch to consider this a threat means not just overlooking the poster's obviously non-threatening message, but also the fact that it was posted somewhere entirely away from the Rainbow Center anyhow. It's sort of like seeing a Chinese takeout menu on my neighbor's doorstep. I don't like Chinese food, but if he orders some, is he threatening me? The last piece of key evidence here is that the Rainbow Center administrative coordinator published a letter in the student newspaper about the incident, and an unspecified number of copies of that issue were found torn up across campus. Well, even if that's true, I've never interpreted loose newspaper in the street as a condemnation of that paper's poor quality. I usually think the most likely explanation is litter. The evidence here is circumstantial and highly speculative, and regardless, why should anyone have to apologize for disliking a newspaper story and tearing up the paper in response? Would it be better if they disliked the story and recycled the paper in response? Or are you actually going to say that hating the story, that disagreeing with an opinion piece is the offense that matters, and the offense deserving of an apology. While the scrambling for victimhood becomes increasingly incoherent, what is clear is that through the application of scrutiny and through the critical academic values of free thought and free discussion, at Laurier, the right ideas are winning and the wrong ideas are losing, and that is an arrangement for which nobody has to apologize. If your ideas can't compete, an apology will not help you. Time to reflect will. Why aren't my ideas winning? Why aren't people buying them? Why are they losing in the quest for truth and justice? These are all questions that are far more productive and conducive to self-improvement than any apology could ever provide. These are the uncomfortable but necessary thoughts that help each of us build the strongest and the smartest and the best versions of ourselves possible. These are the thoughts that Lindsay Shepherd is forcing people to confront, and for that, she has my personal gratitude. Thanks as always for listening and for supporting this channel. Always appreciate that thoughtful discussion down below, and especially over on Twitter. That is at ML Christiansen. You're always welcome to come hang out and chat in my live streams. Those are linked down in the description. Looking forward to it. Okay, bye.